everyone, here we are today at the second hole at Peebles Golf Club. This is PG assistant Jamie Allen. So today we're going to talk about how to improve our iron shots, how can we maximise our strike pattern. So first of all, we're going to understand how we're going to do this. So what we need to do is we need to enhance more strikes at the middle of the club, to hit more greens, to lower our scores, to hit better shots, to gain more consistency. So what we're going to talk about today is how we can improve that. So what we've got here is we've got a 150 yard shot. This is normally an 8 iron range, so what I'm going to justify is the dynamics of an iron shot. So basically what we need to understand is how we strike down on the ball. So to hit an iron shot we need to compress the ball, so we need to squeeze the ball off the top of the grass or hit down on it, and we almost want to hit a little bit steeper on the ball, come down into it a little bit and look at the ball going up in the air, so apply more pressure down the way. So what's the most common fault in golf is when people use their body more than they need to. So they don't use their lower body. What happens is it's called a scoop. So generally, if you are struggling with your ball striking, one of the most common swing flaws is the scoop. So what happens with the scoop is we take our address position, and what happens is our spine angle moves further back and it tilts more to the right, and this is where the club head, as we come into impact, it bypasses our hands and we make contact back there because our spine angle is further back, and you get that poor transfer of weight. You almost get that sway, and what happens is you come into the ball, you make contact way early. So what we need to do is, this is first of all I'm going to talk about what this is called the leading edge. So the leading edge is basically the bottom of the club, and what we need to do is we need to keep that a little lower to the ground on the way back and compress it a bit more into the ball. So what happens if you raise that leading edge off the ground, that's where you get that shot that you hit the top of the equator of the ball, you get that top shot, you get that shank, you get that chunk. So what we need to understand is to maximise our performance and striking ability, we actually need to squeeze the ball off the top of the turf a bit more and transfer it all our way through to the left side. The minute you fall back on it, that's when you're going to start making a lot of errors. If you try and get your weight through it, you'll get more of a consistent transfer of weight, and the minute you fall back, and that's where you get inconsistent. So what people need to understand is this club was designed for not to naturally get the ball up in the air. A lot of people think that you help the ball up in the air that are just starting that are new to the game, but you actually let the club do the work. So we need to hit down on the ball. So what I mean by hitting down on the ball, we need to steepen our angle of attack. So we need to almost graze the top of the grass, and we need to use the loft on the golf club to propel the ball in the air. So a good thing to work on is trying to feel like you're almost driving into your left side. So I'm going to discuss the thin shot. So what happens is we take a normal address position, and what happens is we coming into impact, we shift our weight back the way, our head moves back, and it's almost our weight's going the wrong way. So we have to compensate that coming into the ball. So we throw our weight back, and what happens is we make contact way back, almost like this, and the ball spins off to the right. So what we need to do is try and focus on is almost feel like we're leaning into something. So just exaggerate, just try and get more weight on your left side, and just try and hit down on the ball a bit more, keeping that leading edge low to the ground. So almost like this. You hear the strike difference. That was a much cleaner strike compared to the first one. But another factor that affects the strike is spine angle. I mean, spine angle is important. So what I mean basically by spine angle is the angle you create in your spine at address. So what tends to happen is a lot of players that don't use their lower body, they lose their spine angle, so they almost fall back on it because you're using more upper body than they need to, and they're not activating their lower body. So what happens, when we get our weight going forward, we maintain our spine angle. When we fall back, we lose our spine angle. I mean, what happens when we get to this position, our weight starts going back, and then we start hitting contact early. At least if our weight's going through, at least we make the correct transfer of weight. I mean, if you are struggling with your ball striking, why don't you loosen your grip? I mean, a lot of players hold the grip too tight. That makes the club head feel light, and it's quite hard to actually cock your wrists to in the position to make the full transition, or the correct transition from top to bottom. So what happens, we need to loosen our grip, loosen our arms. That'll help us make the club head feel a lot heavier, and that will make us improve the strike, because our timing will be a lot better. And what we need to do is soften our arms, feel like we're gripping it as if we're holding a tube of toothpaste, and the toothpaste has to stay in. We're not trying to get the toothpaste out, we're trying to keep it inside the tube. And what we need to focus on is trying to keep everything going to the left. Here's a drill that we need to work on. So just pretend that you're throwing something, and make sure that all your weight is loaded on the instep of your right foot, and then make sure that you get this right foot off the ground going through. That will make you feel like you've got all the weight on your left side. That's what we want. So what we need to, I've got a few things more. What happens when a player keeps their, or what occurs when a player doesn't get their feet off the ground? That's when they start reversing their spine, or their spine starts reversing back the way. They almost hit up on it instead of hitting down it. The difference between an iron shot and a driver is people don't understand this. But the more an iron shot, you almost want to hit down on the ball. With a driver, you want to hit it on the upswing. I mean, a lot of players think that you hit an iron on upswing, but that's wrong. It's physics. It's the physics of golf. The more pressure you apply down the way, the higher the ball flight's going to go. The more you try and hit up in it, the lower the ball flight's going to go. So what we need to understand is just trying to get this right foot off the ground. Just because what that'll do is it'll activate your lower body a bit more, and it'll actually create more power for the shot instead of falling back in it. Because when you fall back in it, all the power, you lose all the power, and your arms are working more than your lower body. So what we need to do is drive through on the left side, but we need to get this right foot off the ground, and then we need to face our chest towards the target and feel like we're turning everything. And our belt buckles face the target, our shoulders are out of the way. So that's basically everything that I've talked about today. But so what we've went from is the difficulty in striking irons if you fall back the way. So it's almost that scooping action. So the scooping action is when there's too much weight loaded on the right side, and what happens is, the wrong transfer of weight. What happens is you come into impact, you start falling back the way, and you lose your spine angle. So what we need to do is, what I'm going to incorporate is just try and feel like you're getting this right foot off the ground, and feel like you're hitting down on it, compressing it, keeping this leading edge lower to the ground, and trying to drive your weight through it. So that's us finished today. I mean, if you've got any other questions, comment below, or if you feel like that you need more tips, why don't you subscribe to Jamie Allen Golf, or follow me on Twitter at Jamie Allen Golf, and the tips will keep coming your way. Thanks for listening.